Okay, guys. Hello, good afternoon. I am so excited that you are here with me. My name is Jenny Melrose. You're here for Pitch Perfect Masterclass. We're going to be talking about how to attract your dream brands without selling out. Now, before I get started, I want to give you guys a chance to come in. I want to make sure that I can see myself, which I can, which is fabulous because we had some major tech issues this morning, which was an absolute disaster, and the class didn't go off. But we got it going today, this afternoon, so I'm super excited about that. All right, so what we are going to be doing today is we're going to be diving into the ways to attract your dream brands. Now, before we get into that, what I want to make sure that you do is you've received an email from me. I want you to go to your Instagram account, and I want you to first make sure that you're following me, and then message me any questions that you have throughout the entire time. I'd love to see if you can see me live so I know who is here with me as I am going through this. So if you just go to your Instagram account, my account is at Jenny underscores, the little line underneath, Melrose. And if you go to my account, you'll see the message button. Send me a quick message. Let me know that you are here with me. I want you to be able to use Instagram DMs to be able to ask me any questions the entire time we are going in. I started a little bit early because I wanted to make sure, one, that 2020 didn't try to really punch me in the gut and not let tech issues work at all today, which definitely happened this morning. And I also wanted to give all of you a chance to be able to find my Instagram, direct message me any questions that you may have. I'm going to tell you a bit more about me, obviously, of course, as we go through this presentation, but I want you to be able to use the DMs to ask questions live with me. I don't want you to feel like you need to hold on to the end. Ask them to me as you get started, right? As we're going through this, just ask the questions that you have. And I wanted to take a couple minutes and just really make sure that even if you were watching the replay, you can send me a direct message on Instagram and I will answer any and all questions that you have. As many of you probably saw, you had received an email from me that had let you know about following me and messaging me on Instagram. I am a former inner city school district teacher, so I always tell people anytime I am presenting in person, which of course hasn't been happening recently because of COVID, but when I am in person, I always tell people, please don't hesitate to ask questions. I'm used to actually dodging chairs and continuing to teach, so adults asking questions isn't an issue for me. So I am super excited that you guys are here with me. We are all in the right place, and I will be able to answer any questions that you have as we go through. As you are coming in, if you want to send me a quick DM, just say, hey, this is my niche. I'm a lifestyle blogger. I'm a food blogger. That definitely works for me. Otherwise, we are going to be going through, and any questions that you have along the way, I want you to be able to ask me live so that we can make sure that we are getting your questions answered and getting you feeling confident and comfortable with everything that I am going to be talking about. I want to just double check, make sure that everything looks the way that it should look, so that we can be sure that you are all here with me and in the right place and getting the information that you need as you need it. So I'm just going to double check and make sure. Yes, we are. Okay, good. Everything looks great. I gave everybody a chance to kind of come in because I did, again, start a little couple minutes early. You're not late. I haven't given away any pertinent information yet. Do not worry if you are coming in, you hear me talking already, and you're wondering, wait a second, I missed something. You didn't. I wanted to make sure that you are fully aware that as we go through, ask any questions that you have in Instagram. You can just DM me at Jenny underscore Melrose and ask those questions. All right. We are going to dive into this so that we can make sure that I am being aware of your time, not wasting your time, making sure that you get through all of the information and ask the questions that you want to ask. Okay, so we are here to talk about how to attract your dream audience without selling out. And again, as you are going through this, you're going to see my Instagram handle is right here because I want you to ask me questions. I'm going to be giving you homework as we go through this, the training. I'm going to be giving you some action items that I want you to do. Being that former teacher, I am all about making sure that you have homework and you can take information from this and put it into action right away. So if you do that, I'm going to hear me talking about Instagram stories. This is the Instagram account to DM, as well as to, if you want to share that you are taking this training, take a screenshot and put it up on Instagram stories. Tag me at Jenny_Melrose. Okay, so who am I? My name is Jenny Melrose, like you heard me say. I am a former teacher, and I also now teach grown women how to grow and scale their businesses. When I had started off, I was an inner city school district teacher. I taught K through 5 and very much was at a place in my life with my own children as well as my site. Then I felt like I just was missing something. I didn't have all the time that I wanted to be able to devote to my kids. I didn't see them that much being a full-time teacher and then having to try to do this as a side hustle on the side. I was able to figure this out and make it my full-time business, which we're going to talk more about how I was able to do that. I am also a content strategist. And what this means is I know what content works and how to write the copy and the images that work across social media as well as blog content. I had the Melrose Family, which was my lifestyle blog, for 10 years. And as you're going to hear, I have a 10-year-old. I started that site when she was 6 months old. So I know many of you are thinking in your head, I have kids home right now. I'm having to homeschool. I'm trying to run this business on the side. How in the heck am I going to have time for this? I get it. I did it. I was working outside of the home, barely was home, had a 6-month-old, and then ended up having another surprise baby 3 years later. I understand that it feels like you don't have enough time. I'm going to show you ways that you can get time back and make money from doing it. I'm also a podcaster. I have the podcast Influencer Entrepreneurs on all your favorite podcasting apps. If you listen on iTunes or Spotify, wherever you listen, you can find it under Influencer Entrepreneurs. I have had that podcast for 2 years now, and I have never missed 1 week of an episode. There are over 180 episodes now at this point. I am also a business coach. I work one-on-one with women as well as I run facilitated masterminds where I bring together a group of 6 women that are in different niches and help them scale their businesses together. I also am an author. I had my first book, Influencer Entrepreneurs, the 4-step framework for building your audience, growing your business, and making money online, came out this past May of 2020. And of course, 2020 has been the year of all the years. And I know you all know what I'm talking about, what we're feeling, but it was a fabulous time to bring out a book that really showed people how they can move their business online and scale it, because that's what so many of us are doing, right? Many of you have already been doing that and you have a step ahead of so many people. And if you're new to this and you're just starting to come online, it's okay. Everyone is going to be on the path that they're on and the journey that they're on. I'm going to show you ways that you can increase it and get there faster. As I said in the beginning, I am also a wife and a mom. My daughters are now 10 and 7, and they are in a hybrid model right now for schooling. So they go 2 days a week and are home 3 days a week. So I am also making sure that they are getting their schooling done when they are home for those 3 days. So I understand the lack of time that you have. And I am going to make sure that I give you step-by-step ways so that you can move forward and monetize that. Okay. Whew, I'm gonna take a breath now that I'm done explaining who I am and getting into all this. The question I want to know is how many of you are making money from your business? Send me a DM at Jenny_Melrose. I'd love to know how you're making your money and how, even, you don't have to share how much if you don't want to, but which ways you are making money if you are making money for your blog. So is it ads? Is it sponsored work? Is it affiliates? Is it your own products? Tell me how exactly you are monetizing your blog. Now, if some of you are not monetizing yet, my guess is that you're creating content that you could be monetizing already. So we're going to talk about that. You naturally are probably already talking about products and services that you know, use, and love. Now we're going to talk about how you can get income coming in from that content. All right. Now, before we dive into the step-by-step process, I first want to make sure that I explain Dream Brand. We want to define this because many of you are probably sitting back thinking, okay, I'm a DIY home decor. My dream brand is Lowe's. I'm a fashion blogger. My dream brand is Nordstrom. I'm a food blogger. My dream brand is Wilton, or I am a decorator and I want to work with Home Goods or Michaels. Those are absolutely dream brands, right? And what I want you to understand is that this is a process that you will build up to be able to have those types of relationships with those types of dream brands, to create content for them in a sponsored way. But it is not going to happen overnight. This isn't, I'm going to give you a process and you're going to work with that dream brand immediately. There are tons of bloggers, tons of influencers that are out there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a step-by-step way that you can start making money and using the products that you have at home. It may not be yet that dream brand, but we are going to get there. I'm going to teach you strategies that you can put in place today to start attracting the attention of that dream brand. And it's going to really start with understanding my 4-part framework, which is PAC. It teaches you how to land long-term contracts with your influence. PAC is an acronym. I talk about it a great deal in my book, but for when it applies to working with brands on sponsored content, the P stands for position, A is authenticity, C is confidence, and K is kindness. I'm going to break down each of these so you can see how you can apply it within working with a brand in order to get sponsored content. Now, what you're going to routinely hear me talking about is the fact that your audience is going to be most important throughout the entire time. But before we can get into your audience, we need to know how to attract them. And we need to start with position first. You need to be able to tell me what makes you uniquely you. How are you different from everyone else that is out there? And many of you are probably kind of sitting back going, well, I'm not that different. I have a normal life. I have 2 kids. I was a teacher. I was this. Maybe you worked at a bank. Maybe you worked in retail, whatever that might look like. But I want you to really start to go back to maybe some of your life experiences. What have you done? What did you formally do? One of the best examples I can give is of a former client who I was talking through, and we were walking through this whole positioning piece because she was struggling when it came to sending her pitch to brands. And I said to her, because it was very obvious to me, and it often is very obvious to the outside of yourself, of what your unique positioning is. But my question to her was, well, how many kids do you have? And she kind of looked at me funny and said, Jenny, you know that I'm pregnant with my 10th child. And I said, okay, right. That's right. And tell me, where did they go to school again? And again, she kind of looked at me and was frustrated and said to me, you know, I homeschool them. And I kind of just sat back and waited. And if you're a Friends fanatic like I am, you know that whole waiting thing of what Chandler does with Joey, where he waits for Joey to get a light bulb moment of understanding and getting there faster, right? That was her. And all of a sudden, this light bulb moment went off for her. And she looked at me and she goes, I'm a homeschooling mom of 10 kids that does budgeting. Like, that's my niche. I talk about budgeting and how I'm able to feed my family of 10 on $400 a month on groceries. And I just, yes, that's it. That's exactly it. Now, for some of you, you may be thinking, well, I don't have 10 kids and I don't homeschool, so that doesn't fit for me. But think about what makes you different. What is going to set you up as unique within the marketplace? I had another client that came to me that was trying to make her content grow, as well as she was thinking of creating online classes for dancers. And she came to me and she said, Jenny, I just don't know how to stand out when I go to pitch a brand. And again, I had one of those moments where I kind of like looked at her like, you're crazy. And I said, you live where again? And she's like, New York City, you know that. And I was like, mm-hmm. And where do you dance as a professional dancer? And she says, Lincoln Center. You've seen me dance in the Nutcracker at Lincoln Center. And I kind of looked at her and I was like, mm-hmm. That's your positioning. That's what makes you different from any other person that's out there that's trying to work with a brand or that is trying to position them in the marketplace. You are a New York City ballerina that dances at Lincoln Center as part of New York City Ballet. Now, again, that might not be your life, but I want you to understand, think back to what you have done. If you have background in being a college administrator, or you have background in being a teacher, or of being a chef, or doing the retail setup for stores, whatever that is, it's very likely that that could set you apart from everyone else and apply to your niche of what it is that you're trying to do. So you really need to walk through that positioning and understand it. Now, in order to really get your positioning down and leverage it, not only are we going to take your life experiences, but we're going to add in your personality and your heart. Because what you're trying to do with your positioning is not only show yourself to a brand of how you're different and position yourself in the marketplace, but you're also trying to attract your ideal audience because the brands want your audience. So when it comes to personality, what kind of personality do you have? I am a former New Yorker that talks fast, and I know that about myself. But I'm also a former teacher that's very strategic, and I am good at teaching. I understand how to do it. I love it. I can give you examples. I can teach you 8 different ways how to do the same thing so that it's at your learning style. Some other personalities might be like one of my students that's enrolled in Pitch Perfect Pro, Melanie from Mostly Under Control. She has a very dry sense of humor. She is a parenting blogger that now has twins that already had a preschooler and an elementary school student. And she talks about her dry sense of humor is what brings it in and draws that audience into her. They laugh with her. They know that they're going to get this sense of humor that comes along with it. So it draws in that particular audience. She applies it to the life experience of being a former preschool teacher and then shows her heart by sharing actual moments that happen with her kids, how she can go through and just pull her audience in, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to create your positioning in the marketplace as within your audience as well as with that brand. And the only way to do that is to understand these 3 things and how you can pull it in. The heart piece that is here is, what are the things that matter most to you? Show who you are. Don't be afraid to share it. If you believe in body image, talk about it. Even if you're a food blogger and it applies to what you are putting in, talk about it. There are definitely things that you are going to feel comfortable for and you're going to want to speak on, and those are things that are going to pull people in. What you need to understand about your audience is that you're not meant to attract everyone. You're meant to repel some people, and you need to be okay with that. So creating this position in order to attract those people. So way in which you can work through your positioning is to actually use Instagram stories and show your story throughout your day. Your very first task that I want you to do is I want you to create an Instagram story and put it up on Instagram and create 5 of them for the day. Tell me this day of your day in the life of you. What does that look like? I'd love it if you're watching this and you do a screenshot, put it up on Instagram stories. You can tag me at Jenny_Melrose. That is part of what you're looking to do. Now, the reason that you're going to tell the story of your day is because it's going to pull in your audience. They're going to want to know more about you. They're going to feel more connected. And when they feel more connected to you, you are able to then get information from them about what it is they need, what problems you can solve for them, so that when you pitch brands, you can talk about the audience that you know. And the fastest way to get your audience to engage and truly know your people is Instagram stories. I don't care what anybody else says. It's Instagram stories because it can be done within 15 seconds of your time of one story, and you can have people replying and responding to you. Now, at the end of this, I'm actually offering for everyone that's participating in the masterclass, if you end up deciding that you want to be part of my signature course, Pitch Perfect Pro, I'm giving you my Instagram Story Accelerator course for free. That's how important Instagram stories are. I feel that I want to make sure that you truly know how to do it so that you can move forward. And that is not only just with your audience, it's with brands, it's with all of it. There's so much that you can get out of using Instagram stories. So get your positioning out there and talk to your people. All right, the next piece is authenticity. Now we're going to talk about authenticity because when you try to attract your dream brands, you also don't want to sell out in the process. You want to be authentic to your audience. If you normally don't do a review on your site, please do not, for the love of things all holy, give me a vacuum review of the specs of the vacuum and it comes with this part and it comes with this part and it doesn't tell me any tips or any story. Your authenticity has to come through in your content. If you wouldn't normally write that way and you're going to do it for a sponsored post, don't do it. A perfect example that I can actually give of this is because your authenticity should matter because it matters to the brand and it's most important for your audience. The brand doesn't care about you. I know you guys, it kind of hurts and offends some people. Well, of course they care about me. I do this and this and this and this. No, they don't care. What they really care about is how well do you know your people? And I know that's a question that always comes up as far as when can I start working with brands? Well, it's not about the number of followers or the number of page views. It's about how well do you know your people? Do you know who they are? Are they moms? Are they 20-somethings? What are their struggles? What are their needs? What are the brands that they're already using? Which is why, again, I push you in the first exercise to use Instagram stories. Because you can ask that question. What's your favorite brand of seasoning if you're a food blogger? What's your favorite brand of cleaning materials if you do cleaning or DIY? Okay? Think about what you can ask them on Instagram stories to get a better understanding of who they are using. It's truly, truly so important. Now, the example I wanted to give with you of authenticity and not selling out is one that happened to me for the Melrose family. So when I had the Melrose family, I was approached by Glad Trash Bags to do a 4-day Glad Trash Bag challenge. And I was asked to literally show 4 days and talk and tell my audience how the garbage still smelled wonderful even after 4 days. Well, here's the problem that I ran into. My audience doesn't give a crap about 4 days in a garbage challenge. As if that was not why they were coming to me for. They were coming to me for quick and easy recipes and projects. They were coming to me for beautiful recipes that my kids would eat, that their kids would also eat. And they were coming for tips on how to make things quicker for them in what they did. So instead of turning around, taking the money and pretty much selling out and doing a 4-day trash bag challenge, I pushed back and I said, listen, that's not going to work with my audience. Let me think about how I can make this work so that it would be beneficial for you, because if my audience hates it, it's going to hurt both of us. I'm going to lose people and you're not going to get the engagement that you want on that content, because the purpose of sponsored content is not to sell. I want you guys to really understand and hear that. Your purpose when you write sponsored content is not to sell. It is to influence them to think about choosing that product. So in other words, when I went back to Glad the following day, I said, listen, I want to create a beautiful fish taco recipe, Caribbean fish tacos. The feature image, the pinnable image, the Facebook post, the Instagram post is all going to be the Caribbean fish taco picture. It is not going to be Glad trash bags. Not happening. But what I will do is I will tell a story like I always do in my content about how my youngest at that time, who was 3 or 4 years old, didn't finish her fish taco, threw it into the Glad trash bag. We went away for a long weekend, came back 4 days later, and the whole house didn't smell like Caribbean fish tacos because the Glad trash bags had worked so well. That's the authentic story. My people got the recipe they want, and that's so typical of my little one, and they know that. It was perfect and authentic to them. Not only did Glad at first give me pushback about that and then decided to go with it, but a year later, after the post went viral for me on Pinterest and also started coming up high in Google search, they came back and bought the rights to the photos. And now my Caribbean fish taco recipe sits on Glad Trash Bags website. A brand that didn't understand why I didn't want to do a 4-day trash bag challenge as my blog post. You have to be able to know you got to know your audience. I knew that my audience would have hated a 4-day trash bag challenge, but I knew they would love a recipe. And that's exactly what I had to articulate to that brand. And you will need to do the same thing. You're going to need to understand what your people want, which is why we talked about really engaging with them and using Instagram stories. Okay. So after your authenticity, before we get into the next piece, I want to make sure that you have an exercise for this, right? Do a pantry perusal. Now, if you are a DIY home decor blogger, maybe don't look in your pantry, but go look in your garage. Or if you're a beauty blogger, go look in your makeup, wherever your makeup is, right? Look and see what brands you're already using. Those are the brands you're going to start with when you pitch. You want to reach out to the brands that you know, use, and love because it's easily authentic. You probably are already talking about some of your brands in your content, and that's why I'm saying it's going to be easy for you to be able to create more content that is actually paid from that brand because you already have created that relationship with your audience to understand that you're going to talk about the products that you love. They want to know that type of information because that's how influence works, right? So do this, go through, check and see what products and brands you have because that's where you're going to start when you go to send them your first email pitch on who you want to work with. Okay, the next piece is confidence. Now, confidence, as many would like to say, you are not born with. It is something that you learn. You have to practice confidence. It's not something that you're just naturally going to have, especially when it comes to working with brands and you've never done it before. Or if you have pitched them before, but you didn't follow a complete process and probably fell on your face, which is why my complete signature course, Pitch Perfect Pro, gives you the full step, exactly what to say, when to follow up, when not to, and what it should look like. Now, for confidence, there's 3 things that we need to think about. The first is to fake it. Because let's be honest, when I say fake it, I'm not telling you to be fake and say you do things and try to talk about Pottery Barn when you've never had a Pottery Barn item in your entire house. I'm talking about fake the confidence. Fake it that you've worked with brands in the past. And a great way to do this is to do a case study. Get the results of talking about a specific brand so that when a brand comes to you and says, well, what can we expect to see? You can say, this is what I'm seeing. This is how many page views. This is how many engagements. This is what Instagram brings me. This is what Facebook brings me. All of these different places so that you can really have a better understanding of what to tell them. That's going to be very important. The next piece is manifest it. And that's a little woo-woo maybe for some of you, but I'm telling you, you put it out there, you talk about the dream brand that you want to work with, you think of the project that you would put together using it or the recipe that you would do using that ingredient, and it's more likely to happen because when you go to talk to them in email, you're going to be so excited. When you possibly get on the phone with them to go through a proposal, your excitement is going to come across in how much you've thought about this. So dreaming big, manifest it, make it happen. The last piece is to pitch it. So often I hear from people, well, I don't know, I put it together, I've got this elevator pitch, I have my initial email, but I've only sent it out once. You can't send one email. That is not enough. You need to be sending enough emails so that you are reaching out to a ton of people. What I mean by this is that there's a law of averages when it comes to brands, and it's 1 out of every 10 is going to say yes, which means that if you want to get 10 contracts sponsored with brands, you need to get 90 no's, which means you have emailed 100 people. Now, I'm not telling you to email 100 people today or this week or next month or whatever. You need to spread those out and that is exactly what I teach you to do in Pitch Perfect Pro. It walks you through how many to pitch per week, how to follow up, how often, and how you can keep this all organized. I give you the templates, I give you the documents so that it's simple and easy. But what I want you to understand about this is that you do have to pitch it. You got to put it out there and follow up until you get an answer. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see people making is they'll say, oh, I sent out 20 pitch emails over the past month or 2 months. And they'll say, and I didn't get anything. And my next question is, well, did you follow up with any of them? And their answer is always no. I didn't follow up with a single one. You are not going to get brands. You're not going to send an email and get a response tomorrow and get a paid deal. You're going to need to follow up. That is part of the system. And I go into a great deal more about that in Pitch Perfect Pro because I'm going to give you the step-by-step for that and what to do and when. All right, this exercise for confidence, what I want you to envision is that you've sat down next to a stranger on a plane. Now, probably not this week because of COVID, but let's think pre-COVID, post-COVID, whatever. You go on a plane, you sit down a stranger, they ask you what you do. I want you to ask a question that hits on the pain point that you solve and then give them your elevator pitch based on the solution. So let me give you an example. If someone asked me what I had done for the Melrose family, I would say, you know how you feel like you never have enough time to really spend with your kids between dinners and projects? Well, over at the Melrose family, I create quick and easy recipes and projects to give you time back to get to the table and have conversations with your kids. I hit on a problem that I knew that they all have, wanting to have that time back, because normally people want time back. And then I show them how my site created the solution for that. You have to have your elevator pitch down because no matter who it is that it's asking, a brand, someone in your audience, or a random person in real life that's at pickup line 3 months from now when you're picking your kids up from school, you need to be able to say what it is that you do. The second you start treating your business like a business and can articulate what you do is when people in your life will start treating you like a business owner. Not until then will they treat you like a business owner. And I can tell you this from experience. I went from teaching full-time to doing this as a full-time job, and it did not happen until I committed to saying, no, I create quick and easy recipes and projects for busy parents. I don't just blog in my yoga pants. You will never hear the words just blog come out of my mouth. And the reason for that is because that's not what you do. You're a social media strategist. You're a photographer. You are a tech guru. We could go on and on and on. There are so many things that you do as a blogger, and you can't see me right now, but I'm using my air quotes because I don't feel that that is a good explanation of what you do. You create content. You are a site owner. You have to be able to articulate what it is that you do. All right. The last piece of the 4-part framework is kindness. And we're going to talk about different ways that you need to be kind, not only to others, but to yourself. So the first thing is that you need to listen and negotiate with respect. So when you're talking with a brand, whether it is them reaching out to you for the first time and they're offering to send you a $5 bag of granola, or if it's you reaching out to them for the first time trying to talk to them about your proposal, you need to listen to what it is that they're saying. One of the stories that I always tell is that when I had gotten an email in my inbox and they were asking me to for free to put up a video of Kristen Bell for Neutrogena. I promptly emailed back and said, I actually love Kristen Bell. I use Neutrogena products and I would actually really be interested, but in order to keep the integrity of my site to my readers and any previous brands I've worked with, I only work on compensated content. Now, I wasn't rude and said, I can't pay my mortgage in Neutrogena products. I just told them with respect what it was that I expected from my business. Again, it goes back to you. Treat your business like a business, they'll treat you like a business. Not only did they come back and say, okay, well, send me over a proposal and we'll get this together and see where we can go from this. They signed on and I worked with Neutrogena for 2 or 3 years. And it was consistent contracts that I was able to make because of the process that I teach in Pitch Perfect Pro of creating long-term contracts with brands. But I had to start by listening to what it was that they were offering. They had just sent an email and it was an email blast to like hundreds of bloggers. I was on some list and they emailed me, and I'm sure a ton of other bloggers probably dismissed it, just deleted it. And then others probably were rude and said that they don't do things for free and left it at that. Instead, with respect, I then explained what it was I could do for them. And that's what you need to be able to do. The other way that you need to be kind is you need to be able to lift each other up. I often will hear other bloggers talking about the fact that bloggers that work in exchange for product are hurting my bottom line. If you could see my face, you would probably giggle, but that's a load of crap. You are not hurting anyone else's bottom line. You are on a different path in your journey. If you've been doing this for 3 months, you probably can't charge the same amount that someone that's been doing this for 5 years can charge. It's all based on your engagement and your following and the engagement, the audience that you actually know who they are. So be kind. If you're one of those bloggers that has been around for 5 years, 10 years, whatever that looks like, and you hear a blogger saying, oh, I'm going to do it for $200 product because I normally would spend that $200, don't give her crap. Build her up. Say, yes, girl, do it. Get it done. I'd love to help you with this. I'd love to be able to see what it looks like, whatever it might. We have to support each other. Take that time to just be considerate. One of the things that I always did is that if I was working with a brand, whether it was Neutrogena or it was Smuckers, whoever it was, I would always ask the person that I was working with, hey, are you looking for more bloggers to help you on this campaign? Because I have a couple friends that would be perfect for this. And then I would send along those names to that person. That's what we're looking to do. Lift each other up. We know that right now we have watched, if you do have ads on your site, you've watched your RPMs drop because brands are not paying as much for ads on your blog. You need to be able to monetize in other ways, and this is a way that you can consistently do that and add to it by diversifying. Now, the last piece that you need to be kind is be kind to yourself. So the way in which we are going to do this is we are going to know our hate rate. And all I mean by your hate rate is the rate at which you will hate yourself if you work on that campaign because the price is too low. This very well could be that $5 bag of granola. Or for others that might have been doing this longer and really know their audience and have that robust and can charge more in a package proposal, that might be $200. It isn't worth it for you. You need to decide what that is. I walk you through inside of Pitch Perfect Pro exactly how to do that with numbers, taking a look at the time. But what it really comes down to is if you're going to create content and do it on your blog as well as social media, are you going to want to spend 3 hours for something that's going to give you $5 value? That's what you need to decide. If you're working 3 hours, what is that time worth for you? What would you charge for an hourly rate? Now, of course, this is going to change over time because you're going to know your audience better and you're going to be able to pitch better based on those numbers. So keep that in mind. All right. So now for many of you are probably thinking, okay, so what is the purpose of all of this? Why would I want to pitch brands for sponsored content? Well, one, it's going to give you the time back because you're already creating content and probably talking about the brands that you know, use, and love in that content. Why not get paid for it? instead of creating content that isn't connected to anything. It also is going to increase your income. I went from a full-time teacher to replacing that teaching salary of $75,000 just with my sponsored post income. And I never had 100,000 followers or was married to a celebrity. I always had under 500,000 page views, and I never even had 10,000 Instagram followers. It is doable. So you can make more money and diversify your income. It's also about the consistency. Once you go through my process that I offer inside Pitch Perfect Pro, it gives you a formula in which you can create consistent content and consistent contracts with brands so that you're not wondering what's going to be coming the next month. The worst was when my husband would say, so how much are we making next month? And I would look at him and go, I don't know. I don't have any contracts signed with brands. And we don't know what ads are going to look like. We can kind of have an idea, but didn't know for sure. The best was when I could turn to him and say, I know I'm making $2,000 from this campaign or from this amount of sponsored posts, whatever it looked like. So that consistency is huge. And then, of course, freedom. Not that you're going to hop on an airplane today, but the idea is so many of you are home right now, homeschooling your kids, trying to figure out virtual learning, trying to figure out your business, and still have a successful marriage. This can give you the freedom to kind of arrange your schedule based on what is going to work. You always want to do tasks that move you forward and increase your income. And that is what this can do for you. Okay, so I'm not sure why exactly you showed up today, but I hope you really get this one thing, that creating sponsored content can be the fastest way that you can bring in income. And with my strategic step-by-step plan, we can get you making the price that you would pay for the course back in 3 weeks. I'm actually going to show you proof of that. So the obvious question is, what is Pitch Perfect Pro, right? I'm talking a little bit about it. I've been telling you that it's a step-by-step process, and that's exactly what it is. But it can also help you do this. I went from May of making $4,000 a month, and once I had figured out this step-by-step process, I was able to make consistently $10,000 a month. Again, this is just on sponsored post. This gave me the opportunity to have consistent income and to leave my teaching job, because obviously that $10,000 a month covered my teaching salary. Okay, so what's inside Pitch Perfect Pro? Well, in Module 1, we're going to talk about the mindset and the confidence that you need to have, and we're really going to make sure that you understand how to attract your audience so that you can pitch that audience to your brands. Now, we're then going to work on crafting your elevator pitch. So we talked a little bit about that stranger on a plane here. Well, inside Pitch Perfect Pro, I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step way in which you can craft that elevator pitch and be able to articulate it to anyone, especially to the brands, so that it results in contracts. We are then going to pitch it. Now, one of the questions that I always get asked is, how do I find, who do I email, how do I even start with brands? Well, you have to find what I call the golden ticket, which is the email address. And I'm going to walk you through inside Pitch Perfect Pro exactly how to find that email address. If they don't supply the email address, how to actually get it using Instagram stories, which again is why it is the bonus for the next 48 hours if you purchase any tier of Pitch Perfect Pro. The next module is Module 4, and that is proposal time. One of the biggest mistakes that I watch bloggers make, whether they have been blogging for 6 months or they've been blogging for 10 years, is that they like to give their prices of how much they charge for each thing separately. And that is the best way to get paid below your hate rate. I'm going to teach you inside proposal time how to create a package deal so that you never, ever get near your hate rate. Module 5 is got sponsored content made easy. I'm going to show you how you can write content that not only is showing off that brand that you are sponsored by, but also becomes viral content and can actually get your audience to want to share it. Module 6 is the final one, and it's the follow-up after the content is live. What I often watch bloggers and influencers do is they think, oh, once the sponsored content is up, I'm done. No, this is where you go into overdrive, and you're going to make sure you provide that brand with all of the data to show that you are worth your ROI or return on investment. We want to make sure that what they are paying you, they see that you can over deliver on that. And I teach you exactly how to track all of that data so that you can supply it back to them. Plus, I'm going to then teach you how to turn that one sponsored post or those two sponsored post deal into a multiple deal so that you are working on more than one sponsored post for that brand in a larger contract. Okay, so inside for Pitch Perfect Pro, you're going to notice that there is a link that is there for you that you can click through to Pitch Perfect Pro, and it'll walk you through the actual course. You're going to see that there's 3 different tiers. I want to talk to you about these 3 different tiers. And again, if you have any questions while I'm going through this, please feel free to ask. But what I want to talk about with these 3 different tiers is that I made tiers because I want to meet you at your needs, where you are as far as needing more help, and also within your budget, because I know that not all of you have thousands of dollars to pay for a course. So this is my bronze tier. This tier gives you Pitch Perfect Pro, which is the complete course. It also gives you the exclusive access to my Facebook group where you can ask any questions if you run into some roadblocks. It gives you a Pinterest e-course, Media Kit video training course, 14 plug and play templates, productivity video training, and 3 custom spreadsheets, because I know that the biggest thing is we need more time. So I'm going to show you exactly how to go about getting that time in order to do this. All right. So with the bronze tier, here is one of the testimonials. This was tailored from the girl on Blore. She said it had not been for Jenny and Pitch Perfect post. She went from averaging $2,000 per month to $5,000 per month the first month. Then the following month went up to $6,000, and now consistently makes $8,000. So you can obviously see that she continued to grow. My silver tier now gives you more access to me. So if you're looking at it and you see bronze, silver, gold, silver is going to give you more access, more content. You get, as well as everything you saw on that bronze tier for Pitch Perfect Pro, the complete course, the Pinterest, the Media Kit, the productivity, you also get 6-month access to my membership site. Now, what that membership site consists of is you get a monthly group question and answer call with everyone inside the membership site firing questions off at me for 60 minutes. You get weekly live training. So for example, this past month, we spent a ton of time on Instagram, making sure that our profile was set up correctly, that we were doing our descriptions well, so that we attract our ideal audience. And we also talked a bit more about stories on Instagram as well. Plus, you also get a monthly webinar from an industry expert. So someone comes in and we also do another training for that. Now with the silver tier, not only will you get this moving forward for 6 months, all live, but you also get access to all previous trainings, which is over 180. So before I gave you an example of how someone had said that they were able to pay for their course for Pitch Perfect Pro 3 weeks after purchasing it, they made their money back. So this is Sophia from Veggies Done Right. She said, Pitch Perfect Pro is by far the best decision I ever made for my business. Even after blogging for 5 years and having some paid brand jobs, there was so much I didn't realize when it came to working with brands. Pitch Perfect Pro not only taught me how to look at my website as a money-making business, but it taught me how to approach brands with confidence and ask for the money I deserved. The strategies I learned were priceless. I paid back the cost of the program in my first job a mere 3 weeks after I completed the course, and I went on to triple the income I was making through brand collaborations. I cannot recommend Jenny and her brilliant programs more. It will be the best investment you make for yourself and your business. The final tier is the gold tier. Again, just think of each tier as more access to me. So you get the 6 months of mastering your influence, as well as obviously Pitch Perfect Pro and all the bonuses that were in the bronze tier. So this is the monthly group call, the weekly training, the monthly webinar. Plus, you get twice a month 15-minute coaching call with me. So one-on-one, we get on a video call for 15 minutes twice a month, and you can ask me any questions that you have. And it doesn't have to be just pitching. It can be anything from growing your email list to attracting your ideal audience on Instagram stories. What does that look like? Now, this is the gold testimonial as well. So having the one-on-one of Jenny's time and wisdom has been an essential part of the growth I experienced in my business this year. Her advice and guidance has grown my work with brands 900%. The money I earn each month just from working with brands equates to $200 an hour. I'm so thankful to Jenny for everything she's poured into me. Okay, so now I'm sure you're thinking, how much will this cost me? Well, you saw the prices of values of each. So if you were based on the tier that you are thinking and wanting to decide to choose, the bronze, you can get started for just $85 a month. It's 5 months of $85 or one-time price of $397. Silver, which again gives you 6 months to the membership site, is 6 monthly payments of $105 or one-time price of $597. My gold you can get, which includes, you guys, 2 15-minute one-on-ones with me to ask your specific questions as well as all the other trainings. You get started for as little as $175 a month for 6 months, and it's a one-time payment of $997 if you wanted to do it that way. All 3 tiers have payment plans because if you wanted to do it that way and it's easier for you, that's fine. Or if you want to save the money and pay the one-time fee, it will cost you less money that way, obviously, too. Now, what I want to be able to do, now on top of everything else, I also let you know that I was going to be giving you a bonus, which is my Instagram Story Accelerator course, which is normally a $99 value. If you purchase Pitch Perfect Pro, any tier in the next 48 hours, you will get the Instagram Story Accelerator for free added to your course list, okay? So what I wanted to be able to do is answer any and all questions that you guys have. I know we covered a lot of material, but what I really want you to understand is that it is a step-by-step process to make sponsored posts become part of your diversified income. It is something that you can do, and it is something that you can do in as little as 5 minutes a day that you are doing it. I teach you different ways to make it so that it is as productive as possible for just you, because obviously everyone's schedule is different, but it is a way in which you can diversify your income and add to it. Some people, depending upon where you are starting off, will make a different income. Obviously, it's going to, again, be based on audience size, but largely based on engagement. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. What I wanted to do right now is if any of you have any questions and you wanted to send me the questions via DM, I'm going to check it. I'm just checking to make sure that I haven't missed any questions that have come along. Okay, this is always one of the most popular questions, and that is, how many followers do I need to have? And if you missed that part, I want to go over it again quickly. It's not about a matter of number of followers. It's about knowing your audience, understanding who they are and what they do. Now, if your audience consists of your mom, your best friend, and your sister, probably not quite ready to work with brands, because yes, you know those 3 people, but you need a little bit more than that, right? I walk you through exactly how to price yourself inside Pitch Perfect Pro, because that's another question that I'm seeing popping up here. There are industry standards that I talk about as far as like Instagram and your blog and how many page views you need. I break all of that down so that you can put together a strong proposal that is going to work with the brands that you are pitching. And again, of course, I also teach you the step-by-step process that you can use in order to make sure that you are reaching out to the brands and following up. Okay, I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Okay, other question that just popped in is about the difference between silver and gold for my tiers. Silver gets you the membership, gold gets you membership and 2 15-minute one-on-one lightning consults with me per month. So that's the difference between the two. Another question that just came in is, which tier is the best one for me? I don't know your budget, and I don't know where exactly you are, but I will say that the students that have seen the best results are normally silver or gold because they are getting that immediate access. If there's an update that is made on Instagram, I talk about it inside my membership site. If we are wanting to make sure that we are growing our email list, I teach that inside my membership site, so that you can still use it to be able to pitch brands. You will have the complete step-by-step on how to pitch brands and work with them through my bronze, through Pitch Perfect Pro, the complete course. But staying up to date with all the latest trends and taking your blog to the next level of being a business, if that's where you're at right now and you're ready to move there and get there faster, then silver or gold would be my suggestion for you. Only because you're just getting that much more hand-holding, and I'm able to, obviously, if you go gold, you get direct contact with me to ask your specific questions that you have. Okay, let me just make sure that I haven't missed any other questions that are here. Some of you are saying, another question just came in, if you are already a member of my membership site, which some people are, what I actually will do is if you come in at gold, we pause the membership site because you get 6 months access inside the gold tier. So if you are a current member of Mastering Your Influence, you don't get double billed. I stop the monthly charges for the membership site and you get 6 months. And then if you want to stay in the membership site, you then would go back to that plan that you were on. Perfect question. Love it. Okay, just making sure I didn't miss anything that's here. Oh, people are asking, I just saw one more question pop in, about how when it comes to actually knowing their audience and engaging with them, they're having a tough time. I get it. That is why the bonus is my Instagram Story Accelerator, because I'm telling you guys, I know I kind of went off on this in the beginning, but the fastest way to get to know your audience is through Instagram stories. You can ask questions, you can do polls, you can talk to your people, and that's what you need to be doing in order to engage and understand who your audience is. If you are someone that is starting to grow your audience, you also still want to be talking to them, teaching them from the very beginning how to interact with you. And that's what Instagram Stories actually gives you the opportunity to be able to do. And that's why it's the bonus, because I do feel that it is one of the most valuable ways to actually go about creating your content, to get to know your audience and know what it is that they need and want from you so you can pitch that to other brands. Okay, let me just double check and make sure that I didn't miss anything. I am not seeing other questions here. If you are watching the replay, you have a question that comes up, please just DM me on Instagram and I will answer you there to make sure that you have the answers that you need. Again, that link to go to for Pitch Perfect Pro is down at the bottom of this video. If you don't see it, it's just jennymelrose.com/pitch-perfect-pro-2020. We want to make sure that you get in for that 2020 price and piece, because Pitch Perfect Pro has all updates, and we are only offering Instagram Story Accelerator right now for the 2020. This launch, this time right now. All right, you guys, I appreciate you all so much for joining in. Any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at Jenny_Melrose, and I will be there waiting to answer any questions that you have.